Your soulmate can absolutely trigger a spiritual awakening in you, especially when it is your twin flame. I am a living example, and here is why it happened. My twin flame is like a soul duality. If your soul were to split into two and the one half comes in at the right time to save the other half. What happened in my situation is that when I met my twin flame, we were strikingly similar and had a lot in common. There was one key difference. He is deaf. He carried all of the positive attributes that I didn't have. He loved me unconditionally and had the most patience, as I just took him for granted. That type of dynamic began to disturb my nervous system because it was unnatural to meet someone like that under the false self and ego. My cells knew that something had happened, and that's when it all started. From facing my shadows to experiencing a part of my ego dying. I thought I was dying. I thought I was on a reality show. Spiritual things were underway. It eventually caused me to leave home one morning in Houston, Texas with just my ID and clothes I was wearing. I thought God had called me to preach, and I took off to Portland, Maine. When I got to Maine in 3 days, all the spiritual magic stopped. I was left to my own thoughts. My so-called friends said it was the devil who was speaking to me. I was humiliated. I finally get back, and my soulmate still nagging me. He was in love with me, but I ignored him because my false self was blind. I could see but had no vision. As God slowly unveiled the truth, my ego tried to hang on to making sense out of it all, and then boom. Full-on reveal and feeling true love for the first time. I cried all night. I kissed him over and over and promised to protect him forever. It all came clear as to why I felt like I was going crazy weeks leading up to the reveal. According to ancient yogic philosophy, a branch of Hinduism, which is where the concept of soulmates comes from, most of us do not have soulmates. Soulmates are two souls who want to speed up spiritual growth, which according to yoga entails renouncing interest in all worldly matters and all self-interest ego matters. So they agree to be mates for several lifetimes and to make each other so miserable, that eventually both of them realize that romantic love does not provide the unity, solace and love that we are looking for. Only union with the divine does this. According to the concept of soulmates. Do they trigger you to be awakened? No. If you have a soulmate, and most of us prefer the easier, slower path to enlightenment, your soulmate will make you despair about romantic love and help you turn away from romantic love for happiness, and turn to God instead. Frankly, I think the concept of soulmates is an ancient attempt to explain the phenomenon that modern psychology recognizes, that the stronger the chemistry is at the start, the more painful the relationship is going to turn out to be. This is what I believe. If you meet a soulmate who is awakened and you're supposed to awaken, this can trigger your awakening. And if you were meant to awaken, they will meet you at the right time to do this. Other than that, the only other person who can awaken you is your twin flame. If you have a twin flame on Earth, either meeting them will trigger it, and it doesn't even need to be a romantic meeting, or the divine themselves will awaken you. Before you meet them. I never meet an awakened soulmate or anyone who was awakened. I barely knew the term. The divine awoken me slowly, and I mean very slow. Unless you pick it up, it will remain very slow till you meet your twin soul, and this will trigger theirs. You can awaken your spirit, but if you weren't really destined to awaken, you won't fully be able to. Or it won't last. It's meant to be the soul's purpose.